We will now call to order the Finance Committee meeting for April the 19th, 2021. Before we get into our general business for tonight, we are honored to make a special presentation, so I'll yield the floor at this time to our City Manager, Mr. Mike Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am proud to announce the hiring of Jennifer Sweezy as our new Assistant City Manager here in Muskogee. She's got very many talents. She impressed us throughout the interview process with her experience, her knowledge, and her talent. Her start date at the city is May 10th, but I'm glad she's here for you to meet today, and I'll ask her to come forward to the podium while I tell you more about her. Jennifer Sweezy most recently served as Communications and Media Relations Manager for the City of Broken Arrow. She brings 17 years of experience, including 10 in local government. She started working in the City of Broken Arrow in 2014, assisting the City Manager's Department in high-level administrative programs, capital projects, and community relations initiatives. Prior to that, she spent 10 years in North Carolina working in public and private sector, serving in tourism, marketing, and communications roles. She has a bachelor's degree in business administration from Oklahoma State, a master's degree in administrative leadership from the University of Oklahoma. I'm very proud that she's taking a leadership role in the City of Muskogee, and please join me in welcoming Jennifer Sweezy.
Thank you, Mike. Very happy to be here and meet all of you. I'm looking forward to joining the team and getting to work in a couple of weeks. And I do claim the OSU degree, the OU one, is not as important. Cowboy. Glad to be here in Muskogee and look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
All right, once again, we'd like to welcome her to the City of Muskogee and looking forward to brighter days ahead. At this time, we're going to our agenda for tonight. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of April 5th, 2021.
After reviewing the minutes, are there any corrections or additions to our minutes?
Move for approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve our minutes. Roll call, please.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments March 27th, 2021 through April 9, 2021.
We have a report from the Purchasing Committee.
We did meet this afternoon, and we do approve the claims.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve our claims. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval to receive donated funds from the Cherokee Nation in the amount of $8,000 or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. We do have a guest here I'd like to invite forward. Councilor Mike Dobbins from the Cherokee Nation has very graciously made $8,000 available to the city. We're working, he's got a heart for law enforcement, and he has agreed with us to allow us to use that money to help fund an additional K-9 unit as we're preparing to do. I want to be very grateful to Councilor Dobbins and the Cherokee Nation for their continued partnership with the City of Muskogee, and I'd like to turn the floor over to him now to address us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council, for allowing me to appear before you. I am privileged to represent the Cherokee Nation, and just this donation to help with the K-9 unit is just further evidence of the desire for the tribe to have a strong, working, reliable relationship with the City of Muskogee. Cherokee Nation is not going anywhere, so we'll be there for the City of Muskogee. Won't be relocating. So again, it's just a privilege to be here to just once again make this contribution to the City of Muskogee. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, here, Mayor, why don't you come forward and we'll do a picture here real quick.
Item number 4, please.
Yeah, we need to take action on that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
I wasn't going to take action to accept that donation, but since it's what we have to do, item number 4.
Consider the approval of resolution number 2851, declaring a parcel of property, more particularly described in the resolution, as surplus to the needs of the city, and authorize the conveyance of said property or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan?
Thank you, Chair. Committee members, this is a request from Lacey and Cody Aldridge. They've requested to purchase the property that's at 1023 Mill Street. It is currently Zone C3 Regional Commercial, but it is only 6,475 square feet. And this property is across from the property that's addressed as 1022 Mill Street, and they are also requesting that. It was a deal that was worked out when Mr. Garvin was here with the county, that if they deeded the one property, that we accept the other one so that it could kind of go in conjunction and be used together. This is our standard resolution for surplus property, and staff does recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of resolution number 2852, declaring a parcel of property, more particularly described in the resolution, as surplus to the needs of the city, and authorize the conveyance of said property or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee members, this again is a request from Lacey and Cody Aldridge. They have requested to purchase this property that's located at 1022 Mill Street. It is zoned I-2 heavy industrial, and it is part of an economic development incentive. It was posted for sale for the required 10 days, and from March 4th to March 14th, and there were no other bids. And as they are the highest bidder for the 363, staff does recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval of resolution number 2853, declaring a parcel of property, more particularly described in the resolution, as surplus to the needs of the city, and authorize the conveyance of said property or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee members, this is a request from Jimmy Blackman to purchase the property that's located in the 2500 block of Denison. It is zoned R1 Single Family Residential. It only consists of 5,000 square feet, and he does own the property that is directly next to this one at 2516 Denison. So it does meet the guidelines for our surplus property. Staff does recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 6 passes. Item number 7, please.
Consider approval of resolution number 2855, declaring a parcel of property, more particularly described in the resolution, as surplus to the needs of the city, and authorize the conveyance of said property or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, committee members. This is a request from Menyon and Roosevelt Frazier to purchase a property that is located in the 800 block of South 3rd. It is zoned R1 Single Family Residential. It is approximately only 4,100 square feet, and they do own the property that is directly next to it. Actually, from 3rd to 4th on Indianapolis, they own 308 Indianapolis, which is abuts this lot. And it does meet our guidelines for the surplus property, and staff does recommend approval. And I would also like to add that I officially am passing the torch for surplus property to Mr. Leon Davis, so he will be handling these from now on. So you won't have to deal with me on surplus.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 7 passes. Item number 8, please.
Consider approval of lowest and best bid to Cook Consulting in the amount of $2,800,034.34 for wastewater treatment plant digester rehabilitation project, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Morton?
Thank you, committee members. This item is for some much-needed repairs to the digesters at the wastewater treatment plant. They've had several system malfunctions out there, which caused the roof of one of the digesters to actually malfunction and compromise its structural integrity. So this contract will fix that roof, as well as do some other much-needed repairs to the digester, such as piping, some of the furnace work and boiler work and SCADA work that's required to maintain and keep these digesters up and running. The price for this is $2,800,034.34. It's actually under the engineer's estimate, and staff recommends approval, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Got a motion?
Move for approval?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 8 passes, and that is our final item for our Finance Committee.
We will now call to order the special call meeting for the Muskogee City Council for April 19, 2021. Roll call.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs. Alex Reynolds.
Here.
Stephanie Morgan.
Here.
Tracy McGee.
Here.
Tracy Hous.
Here.
Item number 1.
Consider approval of resolution number 2857 in support of the passage of the county proposition at an election held for the purpose on May 11, 2021, or take other necessary action.
Members of the council, I have asked that this item appear on the agenda on tonight, and it has my absolute support. Today I was reading an article where Muskogee is featured in the top 12 most affordable small cities in America, according to the metrics used by the Council for Community and Economic Research. Our cost of living in Muskogee is 19.2% below the U.S. average. Today, we need to support this general obligation bond proposal put forth by the Muskogee County Commissioners and supported by the industrial economic arm of the Muskogee County Port Authority, because it does not make sense to compliment how well we are in terms of affordability if we're not busy about the business of creating jobs. Under Scott Robinson and his team, existing businesses have expanded, and those who would have left our community benefited from previous bond programs and added jobs to the county. Let me take this opportunity to personally give my strongest vote of confidence to the Muskogee County Port Authority, their economic development arm, and Mr. Scott Robinson for all that they've done, not only during COVID-19, but in past years, to be certain that while we may not have recruited all of the industries that we expected, we have done all that we could to keep our existing industries here and expand and give our community the jobs they deserve. Help me in complimenting them at this time for their work in previous times. In the previous bonds passed in 1998 and in 2001, 600 new jobs were created. And I firmly believe, along with others, that the new bond will exceed or surpass or even match that number. A new job, whether it's an expansion or through recruitment, is still a new job. And what Muskogee needs now is an employment opportunity. The recruitment of new industries in America for small cities is extremely fierce. As a city in small town America, we are now having to compete with other states alone to try to garner what we need to recruit those industries here to Muskogee. Imagine a city our size with 38,000 residents having to compete with a larger city whose proximity and whose size not only triples but quadruples Muskogee alone. Successful recruitment requires that we have available land, infrastructure, workforce, and a business-friendly environment to create the incentives that we need to recruit jobs to Muskogee. I compliment the county commissioners for putting their money where their mouth is, not only saying that we need jobs, but doing what they can to pass a motion of support to create this bond financing program that we believe will bring the necessary jobs to the city of Muskogee. The city of Muskogee is not just talking, but we're also doing to complement this massive jobs effort. The city of Muskogee is exploring financing that will allow us to build up to 120 brand new homes in the city of Muskogee. We have to do this because jobs without housing do not go without complementing one another. We need the jobs, but we need the housing. And economic growth are what we need to be about. We'll never keep up with our surrounding areas who want to grab what we can get if we don't act now. So I'm going to ask my colleagues tonight, after hearing these presentations made by the Vice Chair, Tim Thompson, in support, and other following questions to be answered by those of the Port Authority who are here, to endorse this resolution so that we can put people to work, build our economy, and maintain our status as an open city. Mr. Tim Thompson from OG&E, who is the Vice Chair of the Bond Committee, is here to speak to us tonight. I will yield the floor to him at this time.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Appreciate this opportunity. I want to especially thank City Attorney for putting up with me and getting the wording right for this resolution. Thank you, Roy. So on May 11th, this county is going to have the opportunity to let every one of the businesses we have in this county know that we appreciate you, we're glad you're here, providing employment for the citizens of this county, and that we are willing to partner with you and make available some financing, if you so request, to grow your business, create new jobs, or expand a facility. Also, we want to tell our national accounts, we appreciate you being here. If the opportunity comes and your company is looking to put a new line in, then you might as well do it right here in Muskogee County at your plant here. We have an opportunity to help you with your financing, and this is not something that is new to this county. This program's been here since the 1970s. The last time we went to the voters and asked to support a new bond initiative was in 2001, and those monies have pretty much been all used up. We have an opportunity right now. There's some new companies looking to come to Muskogee, and they've shown great interest in this program, and we'll be watching the election on May 11th. I want to let everyone know that's watching that this will not increase your taxes. This is a loan program backed by the county that which will help secure long-term, low-interest financing. And that is the key right now. We're not looking to take the place of any of our lending institutions. Matter of fact, we'd prefer that you go out to the lending institutions and get your loans. But if you still have a shortcoming of your financial needs, then you can apply with us. And through what is so attractive is the long-term fixed rate. A lot of times you can't get that in today's market through your lending institutions, but this will be available through this initiative. Like I said, this is an opportunity for us to tell our businesses in this county that we support you, and we're putting together a mechanism to help you expand your business. The same for any new businesses looking to come relocate. Again, I think this tells a strong message to the business world that this county is willing to help support and partner with you moving forward. Again, it will not raise the taxes. It is a loan program that will be vetted. If new businesses come into town, we would ask that they contact the Port Authority go through them. They will vet the new business, and then that application will be passed on to the Muskogee County Economic Authority, and we will look it over, and then the final say will be with the county commissioners. So if you've had the supporting information in your packet, do you have any questions at this time?
Do we have any questions for Mr. Thompson at this time? Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion from the council at this time? Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes, the item passes. That will conclude our special call agenda for the night.
I would like to call to order the Public Works meeting for April 19th of 2021. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of April 5th, 2021.
Move for approval?
Second.
Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of the preliminary and final plat of the silo at Doring Crossing Addition, consisting of 12 lots on 13 acres located west of North 41st Street East, south of Harris Road, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Tish Callahan.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. This is a request from C LLC. It is Bob Coburn as the developer. It is for 12 lots on 13 acres. It'll allow for single-family dwellings, and the proposed zoning is to be R1 single-family and RA residential agriculture. It is currently zoned agriculture. The property you'll see here highlighted in yellow is located south of Harris Road. It is, you'll see the turnpike to the east, but it is just directly west of North 41st Street East. It is for residential development, and there are 6 lots to be zoned R1 and 6 lots to be zoned RA residential agriculture. So a closer shot that does show the existing utilities. There is water and sewer available to tie into and to extend. This is the preliminary plat. You will see there are 2 interior streets that have been addressed with the 911 coordinator, the Huddersfield Court and Windermere Drive. They will be built to city specifications. In the final plat, they have provided adequate drainage easements. They have utility easements, drainage easements, all through the subdivision. This is another view of it, and it is been recommended for approval from Subdivision Review Committee and Planning Commission and staff. Be happy to answer any questions. And the developer and the engineer are here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tish. Any questions?
Move for approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
And the motion passes. Item number 3, please.
Receive report on status of water line leaks within the city, and if appropriate, provide necessary direction to staff.
Councilor Van.
Yes, I wanted to bring this to your attention. Me and Councilman Reed went last year down to the water department along with with the city manager, Mr. Miller, and we had some concerns. And at that time, we still had the same kind of concerns I have tonight. That I don't believe that our city has enough employees to take care of our water leaks. And also, I believe that we need to do something about it. Because out in my old community in Midland Valley, right now, I count 7 water leaks. 7. And back in the winter, I'll applaud the water department because they definitely work hard, and it's cold out there, and it was really cold this winter. And I just want to discuss this tonight of why come we don't have enough help in getting our water leaks fixed, because like I say, I've witnessed this myself, and we just don't have enough help. And I know our pipes are old. You know, we kind of put the cart before the horse. You know, we repaired the street, we put new streets in, but what's under those streets is old water lines. And so when we did meet with last year, we found that also we was talking about shortage of materials. And that was another problem. So right now, well, just 2 weeks ago, I had a neighbor across the street down in Midland Valley. He had a water leak on our side. Okay, what had happened is they came out and they was going to, you know, they determined the problem, but till right now, they didn't have a part. That's what I'm talking about. They didn't have a part to fix that. So we should have had that part in stock. This gentleman's water line shouldn't be leaking right now on our side. And it's like that all over town. Got a place on 30th Street. It's been dug up 3 times. 3 times. And like I say, definitely, you know, it's all over town. It's just not in Ward 3. It's everywhere. And I wanted the water department, a gentleman, to come tonight and give us an update of what's going on. We did have a contractor during the wintertime, but the contractor's gone. I'm pretty sure I'm telling the truth. But I wanted the things be brought out tonight to get people to get our citizens' attention and our attention, because there's no sense in, you know, water just keep running and running and running and running. You know, when we have crews that's supposed to be armed and ready to go. And I don't think we have enough help, and I don't think we have enough material. You know, so that's why I brought this on the agenda. There's no sense in jibber-jabbing behind people's back. Let's bring it to the forefront. Let's bring it to Public Works and then take it to City Council and see just what the problem is. What do we actually need to do to fix this problem for our citizens of Muskogee? Because when we got water leaks on their side, they got to pay their bills. Oh yeah, the city won't save money. When we got leaks on our side, it seems like we'll let the water run. That ain't right. So I'd like to turn the floor over to Mr. who's going to make a report or have anything to say about this issue. And so I'd like to turn the floor over to them right now.
Sounds good. We do have one citizen that signed up to speak to this item. Doug Lane, would you come up to the mic and state your name and address? You have 5 minutes.
My name is Doug Lane. I live at 3901 West Peak Boulevard. To establish myself, I've been here for 33 years. Started back in '87. Moved to an operator in 91, mechanic in 97, a foreman in 2010. 2 things I'd like to discuss this evening regarding supply line at water distribution, and second is about staffing issues. The position of inventory control clerk was dissolved in fiscal year 2019, and there has been a breakdown in the supply line ever since that time. Each day when I'm at work, I fill out a daily roster and work orders, and this requires working around who is out that day or on leave. I have to adjust. Then give the work orders to the operators and crews. Crews are usually made up of 3 people, 1 operator and 2 laborers. Currently, we have 1 functioning crew. I make notes of needed supplies, but the way I usually find out about being out of supplies is if an operator informs me that we do not have the part that is needed to complete the repair. All of this is due to the fact that we no longer have an inventory control clerk. The water distribution superintendent had one of the operators doing work of the inventory control clerk / secretary, putting things in CAC and what have you. Sometime he was really needed in the field. Last Wednesday, April 14th, water distribution was informed by Public Works that the city manager wanted an account of the supplies that we have in stock. So Thursday, I put a laborer to start counting supplies, which he had got done Friday. The things that we have in stock do not reflect the supplies that we use most frequently and have run out of, which are more 3/4 inch style stuff, 2 inch and 6 inch supplies. Occasionally we'll be in a bind and we'll get with Public Works, and they will requisition an emergency, and we'll go get what we need. Second issue is the staffing. Now, as I mentioned, water distribution staff, I thought some of them would be here, but they're not. We have Arthur Leaks, which is a foreman, such as myself, and he's also a locator, does all the locating. Bill Kimmer, operator who is on administrative leave. Eric Twyman, he's an operator who is off for surgery, and he'll be on light duty when he comes back Wednesday. Jacob Ireland is the only operator working right now. I have Robert Jones as a laborer, Seth Strader, Kenny Cash, Ronnie Ballard, which is a laborer who is on light duty also, and Danny Merrill, laborer. I have a total of 10 employees, not including Mike Mcgruer, which is the meter tech. Currently, there are 116 open work orders for leaks. That was as of Friday. That is not as of today. We fixed probably 4 today with the one crew. 5 or 6 came in. 60 meter can work orders, one of which I know was last May. And these 3/4 inch meter cans need to be replaced. They're usually at residentials. I have 3 in stock. There are 75 fire hydrant work orders with only 1 in stock. And there are more than that that are broken that I know are out there. There are 15 open work orders for broken valves, and there are more valves out there that are broken that I know. Just didn't want to make up a bunch more work orders to have it sitting on the shelf. We also flush dead-end water lines and things like that every couple of months. We have to, because some of them are dead-end lines. We flush them at fire hydrants. I've been able to do that this year. We usually try to do it every 2 to 3 months. In past, water distribution has been budgeted for 5 operators and 6 to 9 laborers and an inventory control clerk that kept our supplies in stock. This is a total of 20 budgeted employees, including administration positions, but today we have a total of 11 employees, including administration, which Danny Gable is no longer there, for we know he retired. In 2019 budget year to current, we have dropped to 3 operators and no inventory control clerk, which has really been detrimental to our department and the citizens of Muskogee, because it's taken away our ability to keep up with the workload. From 2011 through 2019, the inventory control clerk, well, until 2018, I'm sorry, the inventory control clerk was budgeted.
Mr.
But as
Lane,
of 2019, it no longer is.
your time is up.
Mr. Chairman.
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to extend his time to at least 5 more minutes, because I don't know how long it's going to take. But to me, this is very important. Our citizens are hearing this right now. I hope they're listening to what you're saying. The reason we're having all these problems, not getting into their homes and getting these water leaks fixed. To me, this is very important. I don't even think there should have been a time clock on this,
I second that motion.
because this is real.
Thank you. Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Mr. Lane, go ahead and continue.
Alrighty. I also had, for 2011 and 12, budgeted for 9 laborers. But in 2014, 15, 16, it dropped to 6. In 17 and 18 and 19, it went back up to 9. Like I said, I only have 5. Equipment operators in 2012 and 11, 14, 15, we were budgeted for 5. 16, 17, and 18, we were budgeted for 4. 2019 budgeted for 3. On behalf of myself and my coworkers in water distribution, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Lane.
Thank you, Mr. Lane.
Okay,
If I may.
discussion? Yes.
So I appreciate what Mr. Lane has to say. And I don't disagree with him that we need more people in water distribution. And that is why I want to give Mr. Tucker some credit. When he was acting as city manager and I was assistant city manager, we increased the number of crews from 2 to 3. We currently have 3 crews. we currently have the openings that Mr. Lane has talked about. And we desperately want to hire people for those positions. And please recommend people. We would love to hire them. The city of Muskogee is having a problem, and other employers in Muskogee area are having a problem hiring people at this time. And so we would love to have a fully staffed department in that area. And that would make a lot of difference, I think, in what you're seeing. However, I do want to say that the crews that have been able to work have done a lot of work, and a lot that I want to go over with you. The other thing I want to mention is in relation to our equipment availability. So we have, this council, I think, takes it very seriously that we fix our water lines and we budget appropriately. We budget $130,000 for operating supplies for water distribution. Of that, there's $76,000 remaining. If there is a part that Mr. Lane needs, he can put in a requisition tomorrow and it will be ordered. We have $85,129 for hydrants, pipes, and fittings. There's $44,792,000 left. We have funds available to get the equipment that our employees need. It has not been spent this year. We're happy to spend it when there's a need to do so. We have an audit done every year. You guys look at it. We have about $200,000 or more worth of water distribution inventory on hand at any given time. So we try to make sure we've got the equipment we need. And if there's a day that we don't, we have money available. Even this late in the year, we're 9 months into the fiscal year, we have more than $100,000 left in our budget to buy the supplies that we need. So those resources are available, and the City Council has done a good job providing those. We have, in preparation for this agenda item, thank you, Mr. Van, I looked back at opportunities we have to work with a contractor. And we have a company on contract with us through the year. They have done a tremendous amount of work for us. You guys authorized us to spend additional money after the ice storm. And we had more than 200 new leaks in just the I'll have to get the time frame, but less than 6 weeks after that ice storm. We had 200 new leaks in that time frame. And so we had, again, what we might, as I said last week, I'll repeat myself, maybe a year's worth of leaks happen in 2 weeks. So are we behind right now? Absolutely. We've got an emergency contract in place with the contractor to help fix that. We have fixed more than 200 leaks, according to Mr. Morton, since that freeze, through contractors and through our own crews. And that's all hands on deck with us, by the way. A lot of days, you guys remember a few days where we had trouble getting water on the far west side of town. Some of our rural water districts on the west side weren't getting water because we had a major leak. So that's one leak, by the way. We had multiple crews, the contractor working for several days trying to make sure. So when we talk about fixed in 200, keep in mind, some days we got all hands on deck trying to fix one. So tonight on the agenda, 2 items down, we got a 30-inch water line project. That's to improve water quality, and it's paid for out of a loan. In that same loan, there's money to replace chronically bad water lines. And we realize there's some lines that we have to fix over and over and over again. We're going to quit fixing them, and we're going to replace them. That's a project that's on schedule. We're working with engineers to get it designed and bid out, so it will come before this body for approval. And you guys have already put money in place to make sure that happens. We've talked a little bit about staffing. We know that we have open positions, and that makes it hard on everybody else. We know there's a couple of very good employees that are out right now. They're not able to do their job. And we know we had a retirement recently. We know we had illness in this department in Public Works that has slowed down some of the things that we usually would want to do. So this hasn't been the best year that we've ever had when it comes to all kinds of things, COVID related and not. National emergency on top of a pandemic. But I think we're doing a good job with the resources we have. I feel like the council has done a good job appropriating money for supplies and appropriating money for positions. I do want to draw attention to the fact that we have increased positions in water distribution since I've been here, not decreased. And we do think, we very much hope that people will help us find employees to fill those positions and help Mr. Lane do the work that we all want done, which is fixing those water leaks. So that's kind of an overview from our standpoint. We don't see that there's we don't see that there's a shortage of funding for supplies. The money's there. We just need to order whatever we need. We do see that there's a manpower shortage, and we see that across the city, and we're very hopeful for any help we can get filling those positions. I'd be happy to answer any questions. We do all want the same thing, which is to get the leaks fixed as quickly as we can and as many as we can. And again, I just want to throw this out there. We fixed more than 200 in just the last 2 months. And that is an incredibly high number because working through, and we had a huge amount because of the ice storm, and we're playing catch up. But we're doing well with the resources we have. We very much hope to have more human resources moving forward.
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Yes.
Mr. Miller, you said we fixed 200 in the last 2 or 3 months?
Since the freeze, yes.
Since the freeze. Do we have a contractor in place then?
We did.
Well, wouldn't it make sense, since we don't have any employees that we can get to fix these leaks? Wouldn't it make sense for us to get another contractor in here to get us caught up?
We do currently have an open contract with our contractor, and he's still working on emergency freeze-related items, certainly.
So we do have somebody in here.
We do have money available in our emergency contract to address several of these leaks to assist our staff, absolutely.
Okay. I just want to see the leaks get fixed, and I'm glad you told me we do have a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, for the city help, we are very, very short-handed, and I can sympathize on that. I understand that, but we still need to get these problems fixed for our citizens and our constituents.
I couldn't agree more, and so I've kind of outlined opportunities and plans, and I do want to give the council credit. It's not for lack of budgeting for resources for employees or resources for tools and equipment for them to do their job. Those are in place, and we even have a contractor, as you mentioned. We are facing a bit of, again, a record cold snap that's made worse by the fact that we're shorthanded on staff, and so we're trying to deal with that as best we can.
My understanding is, Mr. Lane, that we have the money. I know you said we're short on water meter cans and different things. If we're short on that, Mr. Miller, you need to be getting with Public Works and getting that problem taken care of, and let them, so they can come to you and get the money.
I don't think we can do it any more publicly than we're doing it right now, that we've got over $100,000 available, and if there's a part they need, they know how to get it.
Well,
You've done your job, Counselor, by appropriating the resources. I've done my job by making it available, and we're just going to have people do their job and order the parts.
Okay. Like I say, as long as we order those parts, and hopefully we'll get some help, and hopefully we still got the contractors here on board, we can get these water leaks taken care of and get them taken care of expeditiously.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Van. We don't need to
Chair?
take, yes.
The question I have for the public, particularly, and maybe even for those in the Diaz on tonight, it would help the public as well as us to understand the difference between an open contract versus a contract that was specific to the needs that we can identify at the time. If someone could give us some clarity on that tonight.
Maybe you can, I'm not sure I understand your question. I'll be happy to try and answer it.
I think that one of the things we heard tonight was that we have an open contract available to assist with water leaks. And I think for the members of the public and the members of the council, what does that mean in terms of the previous contract where we knew exactly what water leaks we were going to address?
So to me, and I'll let staff correct me if I go too far off base, is the open contract means we tell them what to go fix and they go fix it. within the parameters of our emergency declaration.
So having said that, do we need to do more on our end in terms of accounts to be certain that that contract is funded to the magnitude to address the remaining water leaks?
As of right now, we have enough money in. If we get to the point where we look like we're running out, we'll come back, absolutely.
It's one of the things that I was going to suggest, if it's necessary, is that perhaps staff be directed to come back next week with what that budget would look like. And also let us know how they're going to address those repairs and the timeline associated with it. I think that way, when we leave here tonight, we can get closer to some level of closure in terms of how we need to proceed to be certain that we address everything that needs to be addressed.
Mayor, I think we'd be happy to take that as directions as staff to come back with a plan looking forward, touching on some of these points, but definitely fleshing out some of the points that we raised today.
Thank you.
Do we need to vote on that, or just?
I'll take it as direction to staff. You can vote however you want to vote.
I don't think
Do we need to vote or any action?
It's not necessary unless there's any confusion or uncertainty on behalf of the council what the direction was.
I'm clear.
Do we have a time period on this?
They'll bring that back next week.
On next week? Okay.
Okay.
Monday night
That was my understanding.
Yes.
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 at council?
Mhm.
I understand.
Okay, no action to be made. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of an addendum to video services agreement from Southwestern Bell Telephone Company, DBA AT&T Oklahoma, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Tucker.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. This is an extension of an existing agreement that we have with Southwestern Bell Telephone Company, also known as AT&T. And previously, back in 2014, we entered into an agreement with them to provide to collect a franchise fee in the amount of 5% of the gross revenue that was collected from subscribers to their IP-enabled video service. That contract expired in 2019. I had reached out previously to AT&T's external affairs officer. He did tell me that they were working on a new agreement and would get that to me soon, but there were some changes internally that may or may not, he was unsure, implicate what an extension to that agreement would look like. But he did indicate that they would continue to pay the 5% gross revenue, which they did. Very recently, I finally did receive an updated agreement extending the terms of that 2014 agreement, which expired in 2019, for an additional 10 years. And so that agreement, as amended, would expire May 1st, 2031. And it does require that AT&T, in any of their IP-enabled video service, collect and remit to the city 5% of gross revenues. This is very much like the deal that we have with the franchise fee that we have with Suddenlink, that they pay us quarterly based on how many subscribers they have and the funding that they collect. So this is a very similar agreement to what they offer. However, the difference being is AT&T is not obligated under the Telecommunications Act to pay the city anything for providing this service. However, they have decided that to be a good corporate citizen and to not give anyone any kind of advantage, that they would agree to do that, and they have done this with all cities that they have service within. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I do recommend approval.
Discussion or a motion?
Mr. Tucker,
Sir?
does this make this exclusive to the needs that they're meeting for the citizens, or is it a non-exclusive agreement where someone who offers the same service can come in and do it?
It's non-exclusive.
Not exclusive?
Yep.
Move for approval.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
And the item passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of final payment to Mcguire Brothers Construction Incorporated for water distribution improvements, project number 2019012, 30-inch waterline project, in the amount of $393,645.08, or take other necessary action.
All right, thank you. I would
Good
like-
evening again. This project we are excited to announce is, part of our multi-step process to do away with disinfection byproducts within the city. It is a multi-step process. As I said, this is step number 2 of hopefully only 3, but if we need to do more, we will do more. Nobody likes receiving the nasty little violation notices that we are required to send out, and I hate sending them out. So this is all part of the project. The project actually starts on Park Boulevard is where it starts, and it terminates on the east side of Muskogee, just south of the Shawnee Bypass. And here are a few slides. This is basically just a shoring box for our trenching efforts. I'm not really sure where this project was located. We had to bore in several different areas. Next slide here is the actual boring machine that they use to bore under Main Street, 11th Street, Chicago Street. This is the boring machine. I believe this next slide is the casing and the auger used to do the boring. The casing is probably in the neighborhood of somewhere of a 40-inch casing, because you can't slide a 30-inch pipe through a 30-inch casing without some kind of support. So it's about a 40-inch casing and auger. The next slide, you can actually see the 30-inch water line going into the casing with the spacer attached. The spacer is farthest to the right there on your screen. This is a 30-inch by 6-inch coupler, so you can see the difference there. The 6-inch would be used to run a 6-inch water line for service lines to feed residents or to attach a fire hydrant. This is one of the various pressure checks that we had to do to make sure that the pipe did not leak and it met all of our criteria as well as all state required criteria. This is where they were bedding the new line, so they put down a layer of gravel prior to laying the line, and then they put another load of gravel, a layer of gravel, on top of that before backfilling to make sure that the line does not move about and come out of the ground. That would be a bad thing. After they were done with the project, Mcguire Brothers, they were very professional, very efficient, very clean with their job sites. So they cleaned up as they laid a section of pipe. This is where we did some seeding and some hay, threw some hay out. At the time that this picture was taken, we could not lay down sod. The weather was not conducive for the sod to grow, and we would have just been wasting money. So we chose to just go ahead and seed it and throw a layer of hay on top of it to promote growth when the weather was more conducive to growing. And you can see the final cleanup. This project was laid down an old railroad bed alongside our walking trail, and the contractor cleaned up the walking trail when they were done. That's the end of the slideshow, and staff recommends approval for final payment to Mcguire Brothers in the amount of $393,645.08, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Oh, may I be
yes.
recognized?
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
The Mcguire Brothers, I can say one thing. They've done a heck of a good job. I went out there and talked to the inspector quite a few times. I got some property by that trail. And like I said, they come in here they're from Tulsa?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Yeah, they were real nice gentlemen out there. And like I say, they couldn't ask for better. I mean, they were on the job every day. I mean, they were there.
We were very pleased with the contractor. They did an excellent job. Very, very few incidences with any difficulties at all.
It's good to know. Good to know. I was pleased with it myself. 'Cause like I said, I get out. I believe on hands hands on hands, getting out and looking at some of these projects these people are doing for us, our city,
Yes, sir.
you know, and talking to them and getting to know them, you know, and stuff. So, yeah, they've done a heck of a good job. I'll turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Counselor Van. Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval of resolution number 2754, directing the filing and notification of the publication of supplement number 21 to the Muskogee City Code of Ordinances, or take other necessary action. This is my item, Mayor and Committee. This is a housekeeping measure to adopt supplement number 21 to the Muskogee City Code. This will include all of the ordinances approved by City Council from September of 2019 to November of 2020. I'll be glad to answer any questions and recommend approval.
Discussion or motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout. Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Item passes. Item number 7, please.
Receive report from staff on Court Street Viaduct Traffic Signal Coordination Project, or take other necessary action.
Madam Chair and the members of the committee, I have asked that this item be placed on the agenda because one of the questions that we receive frequently from our constituents is what is the status of the light crossing at the viaduct, particularly as it relates to the traffic that is created when a train is passing. As many of the voters will recall, they did pass as part of a previous CIP project to have this issue addressed. And so I'm going to yield the floor at this time to Mr. Miller, who will in turn direct his staff to make the appropriate presentations.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are excited about this project, and it is one that we've been excited about for a couple of years. The idea behind this is to coordinate our train traffic with our street traffic and our vehicles. And so as we do that, we have used this money that the council and that the voters have actually set aside for this project through various grants through the federal government, the BUILD program and the Tiger grant program that you guys have approved us to apply for over the last few years that would turn our money into several multiples. So we would take our money and multiply it by about 10 to get some of these grants to improve our downtown transportation corridor. Those are also very highly competitive grants, and unfortunately we would not been able to get those grants, so we've decided to move forward with the project as a solo project. Just so we can get done what the voters ask us to do. So we're excited that we're able to move forward with it. Mr. Stewart has got the details. He's been involved with it since the beginning, and so I want to let him walk you through what we're going to get and what we're looking at as far as coordinating the traffic between the trains and the street traffic.
Thank you, Manager, Committee, Mayor. I haven't addressed you in a while, so I feel a little nervous. You know, only did it for 40-some years, but I'm glad to be back up in front of you to put this before you. This is the Four Corners project, or the project to alleviate the traffic congestion on the Court Street Viaduct, and that's actually the Court Callahan Street Viaduct. It actually changes names right about the center of the bridge. And as Mr. Miller told you, we had this project ready to go in 2016, and we're fixing to put it out to bid, and that's when we tried to do a road narrowing project on Main Street. And when we were doing that, as Mr. Miller alluded to, we needed to have some type of leverage to go after that Tiger grant, which was a transportation grant. So we held this project up. And actually, as Mr. Armstrong back there worked on it with us, we actually added more to the project as it went. So it grew from the 2016 version to what we're fixing to put out to bid now, simply because it was involved in that Tiger grant. We looked at the approaches and the sidewalks and some different things that were involved in the project. But this project is called the Four Corners Project, and what we have before you there is the cover sheet of the plan set, which is a 90% set, by the way. So in the near future, we're going to do what we call a plan in hand, where we'll actually go down to the project and walk through it with the engineer and go from a 90% set of plans to 100%. And that is going to happen rather soon. And as soon as we get to that 100%, simply because this is a traffic signal project with a lot of complicated issues, I'm going to have the engineer come up and walk you through this project prior to, or maybe as the bidding process goes, so you would understand it a little better. But this is the Four Corners project. And what you have there is an aerial view of the area that's involved. So the first corner is Main and Okmulgee, which is one of our more congested corners, but Main and Okmulgee is one of the four corners. The other one is Okmulgee and Cherokee Street. Main and Court Street, and Callahan and Cherokee. So those are the four corners that really become heavily involved when there's a train on the tracks. I didn't plan it. So these are the four corners that are heavily involved when there's a train on the tracks. We're also we're doing improvements to all four of those corners. The Callahan and Cherokee intersection right now currently has a four-way stop, and it will be signalized. And these signals will have to talk to each other, or they'll have to be interconnected. The signal that's at Broadway and Cherokee currently is going to have to be removed and put up on the Broadway, or on the Broadway Street side where it connects to Cherokee. And then also that signal at Main and Broadway will have to coordinate with the rest of them. This is also going to include the light that's at Main and Denison. In Main and the Main Mall Drive, there's a signal there. So all this has got to communicate with each other, and that's one of the complicated issues, and that's why I want somebody that's more into that world to come up and explain it or answer your more complex questions. So the yellowish lines there are representing the northbound and southbound train tracks that run through downtown, and of course that's what the viaduct runs over. So the slide in front of you there is the turning movements that are on Main Street, and at the bottom of the screen, which is southbound, that's where that turn lane right now doesn't have a protected arrow or a permissive arrow. It just has a green ball. And what happens, as you guys well know, we'll get one car sitting there. We'll get more than one car sitting there, but usually just one gets to go. And so we're going to include a protected arrow and some lane design changes. So the slide in front of you there is protected traffic flow over the Court Street Viaduct when Okmulgee and Broadway train are blocked. So I'm going to let the engineers come and explain the flow that's going to happen when these signals are interconnected and talking to each other, because there's going to be a designated route that traffic is going to have to go. And it will be only while the permissive or the protected arrow is up. So again, we'll have them come and do a more detailed report for you. So there's the Court Street Viaduct, and that arrow that's there pointing down represents where the detector will be, and that detector will detect when a train is on the track, and that will therefore signal to the lights that it's time to put that protected or permissive arrow in place or in action. Otherwise, it'll just be a green ball. So if you'll notice, it says it's facing south, and I don't know if you're real familiar with the trains down there, but from the bridge back to the north is where they do a lot of staging. So there's trains that are backing, but they don't affect the traffic until they actually go under the bridge and get beyond it, and that's when it really actually starts affecting the traffic flow. And then it seems like everybody in town floods to that little green bridge. Mayor, I hope that is the report you were looking for. This plan, again, is 90% complete. And again, we're going to do a plan in hand or a walkthrough in the very near future to complete the plans. And we'll invite the engineer to come up here and go through the whole project with you, and then it'll be ready to go out to bid. It will be several month process. Mr. Reeves has been working on it, and he wrote the narrative for you, and his timeline is pretty accurate. I will tell you that traffic signal projects do take a lot of time to get the parts and supplies in now. So when it does get lead, it's going to take a little while to get all that in in place and put up.
Mr. Stewart, the question I would have is, do we have an approximate time for how long it will take for us to get to the 100% mark on the plan?
So we have so many things going on right now with budget and all these road projects. We're trying to schedule them to be in town here in the next week or two.
Okay.
And when we do that, then we'll go down there and we'll visit, and I'm sure that, I've got several questions myself, and I'm sure that Morris and Jeff probably do as well. And then they'll address them, and then we'll be ready to go. That's the point when I'll try to get back a council agenda item.
Yes. And so, Mayor, the reason, I'm glad you asked that question, because what we're trying to avoid and what Mike's trying to avoid is having a train in the middle of town blocking that street is going to cause traffic problems somewhere. And so what we're trying to do is move them off of Main Street and off of the corridors where they currently are and make it move faster. But what we're trying to do is make sure that what we do is the best possible solution as we move that traffic. It's still going to create some other problem some other place. We want it to be a lot lesser problem, right? So knowing that we're still going to have a train right in the middle, and that it's going to inconvenience people still. So we're trying to make sure that as we go through it, it provides the least possible inconvenience in the future compared to the high level of inconvenience we have now.
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart, I was listening to you just a while ago. You said, I know down there by Martin Luther King, they got sections of the train, switching stations, you said. Boy, I tell you, those switching sections, they're always switching. Because I know this last week, that train probably stayed on the track 2 hours, at least 2 hours blocking that street. And I thought we all have some kind of rules up here that stops that, where they can't do that, block the traffic like that?
So the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, Mr. Tucker, correct me if I'm wrong, regulates that, and there is a time frame, and I want to say it's 15 minutes, but I may be wrong.
No, that's correct.
But-
I think
but-
it's
but they can
20,
move
actually.
But they can move the train. They don't have to clear the track. That train just has to move. So it can't sit still for over the 15, if my understanding of it's correct.
Yeah. And the other thing, Councilor Van, is the legislature attempted to give cities control over those citations when that happened, so we could write tickets to the trains for violating that rule, and the Supreme Court declared that unconstitutional. So that now goes to the Corporation Commission, so any complaints regarding train lengths can't be addressed by the municipality. Corporation Commission has exclusive constitutional authority to handle any complaints involving railroads.
Okay, that's good to know, because I was just curious, because I said they blocked that train, that track was always blocked. You get ready to go there, boy, it just makes me mad so many times. You gotta go, like you said, that one lane, going over the viaduct, go all the way down.
Green Bridge.
One-way bridge, I was just curious.
I was just curious one thing. Do we ever steer the traffic or the citizens to Columbus?
No. And by the way, usually when all that congestion's going on the viaduct, there's very little traffic on Columbus.
Columbus is clear.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is Columbus actually goes completely across town. So if you're going in the downtown district, that's going to take you over to 7th Street, and then you'll have to come back around.
Well, it takes me to 3rd Street, and I'm at City Hall.
I understand.
No, I agree. I highly recommend the Columbus Street Bridge.
Well, Mr. Stewart, let me take this opportunity to thank you and the staff for giving us this presentation. Certainly it was of benefit to those on the council as well as those watching, because this is probably in the top 10 questions that we get.
So I'm going
in
to take
terms
an
of what we can
opportunity to thank Mr. Reeves, our
Mr.
new
Reeves,
this project manager, because he actually has kicked this project in gear. So the addition of putting him on is going to help these projects move along. So we as staff appreciate the assistance.
Mr. Reeves, we compliment you as well, and thank you very much.
I have a couple questions for Mike real quick. Mike, originally when this was on the agenda, it was talking about reducing the lanes of traffic from 4 to 2. That's no longer part of this, correct?
No.
And the roundabout at Elgin is no longer part of this?
That's correct. Yeah, that failed when we didn't get the Tiger Grant.
Okay, and did I hear you say you might be removing the signal at Cherokee and Broadway?
Yes, one of the recommendations is to take that light out at Cherokee and Broadway and put stop signs in there.
Will that also happen at Broadway and Main?
No.
Okay. And this is an observation from someone who sits there all day, every day on the railroad tracks. is the horn that they blow from. I brought that up for 5 years or more now. The horn signifies a low rent district, and both sides of those tracks will remain a low rent district in an underdeveloped, utilized area until we address the horn. And all it takes is coming in and then ask, it needs to be in the municipality or the county, and possibly with Avery Fricks or one of our other representatives. We need to talk to them about reducing that. All they need to do is put one arm on the sidewalk area on Broadway that would come down and close the sidewalk, and then they could go through without tooting 3 times at each place. But unfortunately, as you come into downtown, going all the way through it, you'll see very low rents along the railroad tracks, and it will always remain that way. So when you have people looking at redoing the Muskogee Hotel or any of these buildings, they come in very ambitious and ready to look at redoing that. And then when they realize the cost of doing so, the fact that they're in a low rent district, the sale price and the rent prices do not justify. That's something that's very important along that corridor as well.
Mr. Stewart, if I'm not mistaken, years ago when David Jones was on the council, there was some conversation with the railroad about applying for a grant to have a no siren crossing installed.
They call it a quiet zone.
Yes, if I recall correctly, it was, at that time, it was a huge amount to have that installed. We may want, along with Councilor Reynolds' question, at some point to investigate what is today's cost, and then as a council decide how we want to look at pursuing funding if that's an option at that time. That's just food for thought. Madam Chair, I'm done.
All right, well, thank you. Do we need to take an action on that?
This
No?
was just a report.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. All right, we do have one citizen to sign up to speak. Derek Reed, Councilor Derek Reed, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Derek Reed, 550 South 7th Street, Muskogee, Oklahoma. Just wanted to take this opportunity to give a special thanks to Muskogee. Several months ago, I came and I made a plea for a vaccine station to be held at the Muskogee Martin Luther King Center. We've seen almost 1,000 people come through, not only receive 1 shot, but they are fully vaccinated with their 2nd shot. And so I wanted to applaud Muskogee and just make the announcement that we completed our round 2s, and so we're back to the starting point. We're going to continue every Thursday from 9 o'clock a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. to vaccine anyone that needs them at the Muskogee Martin Luther King Center for the month of remaining month of April, as well as May. You can call the center to get your appointment to get your vaccine, or you can contact the Muskogee Health Department. And on the note of the health department, I want to give them special thanks. They have been our partners throughout this process. And then thirdly, I wanted to thank the Muskogee City Council for their support. I have nurses who are volunteer nurses, people in the nursing field who volunteer every Thursday to come over to the Martin Luther King Center and administer the shots. I have individuals from the National Guard who help us get the old ladies, the gentlemen off the buses, out the cars. They assist in traffic control, and the city council has helped me feed them. They don't get an opportunity to take a lunch. They work right on through their lunch because they want to make sure they save as many lives as possible. Want to give special thanks to Evelyn and Marlon. They handled breakfast one day in the hands of Marlon Coleman. The breakfast finally got there. That's all I got to say about that. Ivory Van took on the test a few weeks later, and I tell you, before the sun came out, Ivory was there with the donuts. Want to give special thanks to Stephanie Morgan. She did the chicken fillet, but she told me she made them herself. But I believe her, whatever she says. And then I want to also thank Alex, as well as Robin and the city manager's office. They've also helped us once again feed the volunteers. I say it all the time and just want to make an appeal to the community. If you haven't, come on, get on board. The vaccines are the beginning of the end of this pandemic. In the coming days, you'll see PSAs, TV commercials that will address to our community. So with that, once again, I just want to say thank you to the council for your support.
Thank you, Derek.
Ms. Morgan?
Yes.
May I suspend the rules? The gentleman, he came up here tonight, he called me the other day, and he didn't know that he was supposed to sign up first.
There's got to be a motion on that before any discussion. So you'd need to make a motion to suspend the rules to allow another speaker.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules to allow Mr. Jones to speak.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Okay, would the speaker come up and state your name and address? You have 3 minutes.
Councilman Van, I think you met James Johnson, at least I hope. I did see that you said Jones, so if the record could be corrected. My name is James Johnson. I'm live at 212 Bel Air Place, and just moved back here to Muskogee after spending 25 years out in Long Beach, California. Been back here about a year and a half, but lived in Muskogee 25 years before moving out there, born and raised in the county of Muskogee, mainly out at Tabb. And what I wanted to talk to you about is making sure that our workers that work for the city of Muskogee have pride in the work that they're doing in the city of Muskogee. I recently had the water people to come out, the PMI people to come out, and they had worked on my meter. I don't know what they were doing, but they always were very respectful. I said, we need about 5 minutes or whatever. But all of a sudden, a crew showed up, perhaps it was last week, of 3 people in a city truck, and they were going to do some work on my water meter. And all of a sudden, I see the guys out there, and they're turning that thing to turn it off, and I said, oh, this couldn't end good at all. And come to find out, they had actually bent the yoke that the meter fits into there, and had to replace the whole thing. And I'd never seen anything like it in my entire life, where they bring along a wooden pallet to lay flat down on the ground with the water running, just gushing, and they're going to go underneath there in some kind of way, reconnect something another in order, I guess, to put a new meter in there or whatever. But in the process, they just left my yard a complete mess. With the water running like that, it actually washed out a lot of the dirt there, and as a result, they had not enough dirt to cover it up, and now to the point where I really need some landscaping there. I need some more dirt and maybe some sod or something of that sort. And then where they left it running and walked on the yard, their foot imprints are all over the place. And this is really what I'm talking about, having pride in the work that we're doing, and that way we have pride in the city of Muskogee, and it all fits together. We were talking about jobs and creating industry that wants to come in here and supply these jobs to Muskogee and improve our economic condition. But how can we do it if we have workers that appear not to be prideful in the work that they do when they're working for the city of Muskogee? And therefore, all of us can have that kind of pride, and it does reflect, and people can see that, especially people coming from the outside that would like to move here and make Muskogee their home, and especially if they're going to be an industry that's going to supply us with the jobs that I see that are much needed here. So I thank you for listening. I appreciate the work that you do, and I didn't address you as Honorable Mayor Coleman and then the Honorable City Council men and women and fellow citizens, and thank you for giving me the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes our meeting. We are now adjourned.